In the mass consciousness, until recently, China was associated primarily with mountains of consumer goods, senseless and merciless. The celestial empire today is capable of implementing large-scale and seemingly insane projects. You don't have to go far for examples. Take at least the Hong Kong-Zhuhai Bridge. We tell you what the Chinese spent about $19 billion and 9 years on. Why is the project called the Bridge of Blood and Tears? How the construction affected rare white dolphins and how the Chinese project is similar to the most amazing bridge in Europe. A road winds through the water surface as if from a fantastic movie. But this is not fiction and not Photoshop, but the very thing that is reality. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai Bridge in the Pearl River Delta, which bears the proud title of the world's longest bridge over water, and its total length is 55 kilometers. Initially, it was assumed that the project would cost $5.5 billion, but in the end the estimate was exceeded almost 4 times, which makes it the most expensive such project. For comparison, Russia spent about $4 billion on the 19-kilometer Crimean Bridge, but the fact that the Chinese implemented this abbreviated name of the bridge in the ZMB speech project is truly amazing. For the first time, conversations about this expensive and ambitious project arose at the dawn of the 1980s, but they seriously started discussing ideas only in 1997, and at the end of 2009, the State Council of the People's Republic of China approved the final plan. Together with him, an order was issued to start construction work. But why was the bridge so important? Since the 1970s, when China decided to refocus on economic liberalization, the Pearl River Delta area has become one of the main economic and industrial centers of the mainland. It includes 9 prefectures, as well as Macau and Hong Kong, which are geographically unrelated to it, but are culturally and economically closely connected with this area. In addition, more than 60 million people live in only 9 large cities around the mouth of the river, which makes the Pearl River Delta the most urbanized territory on the planet. Thus, according to the World Bank, the district has become the largest urban area in the world, both in size and population. So in the future, the mainland will turn into a single metropolitan area formally. The main task of the bridge is to connect the most important economic hubs. If earlier from Hong Kong to Zhuozhou, I traveled by car around the mouth of the river and was about 160 kilometers long, now it is almost halved. But there is an interesting political moment. The fact is that for a long time Hong Kong and Macau were a foreign colony. They came under Chinese rule only in the late 1990s, but they still retain the status of special administrative regions, and there are many opponents of too close relations with the PRC living there. The bridge, an attempt to integrate freedom-loving regions, and to do it gently and unhurriedly, the Chinese side began construction on December 15, 2009. Their Hong Kong colleagues were delayed for as much as 2 years. Conventionally, the bridge can be divided into several parts. The first Chinese one, which includes the 13-kilometer Yuhua-Ellen Cross Road and the so-called Main Bridge, which is the pearl of this project. This section, including their bridge with a length of 22 kilometers 900 meters, which dives underwater on the artificial Blue Dolphin Island and turns into an almost 7-kilometer tunnel laid at a depth of 48 meters and capable of withstanding serious pressure of water and ground masses. The tunnel comes to the surface on the artificial White Dolphin Island, but already on the Hong Kong side near the city airport. The tunnel was needed in order not to obstruct navigation in the Pearl River Delta, as thousands of ships pass there every day. With this solution, the Chinese project is similar to an unusual colleague from Europe, which we have already told about. This is the Øresund Bridge connecting the 2 countries Denmark and Sweden, along which you can get to Malmö from Copenhagen. Its total length is much less than that of the Chinese in the area of 16 kilometers, but the Europeans also have a tunnel underwater and 2 artificial islands. But still, The Chinese project is much bigger. The second section of the Chinese Hong Kong Bridge is smaller, but no less important. This scenic road is called Hong Kong Link Road and has a length of 12 kilometers. If we consider the entire tunnel as a bridge complex, then it consists of 3 cable-stayed bridges of an underwater tunnel and 4 artificial islands. This is the longest sea crossing in the world. Traffic on the bridge is interestingly organized, although the speech from Zambia essentially connects 2 areas with left-hand traffic, namely from Hong Kong and Macau. The transition itself with right-hand traffic is the same as in Zhuhai and other regions of mainland China. Thus, drivers from Hong Kong and Macau need to use intersecting viaducts to switch to the right and traffic when entering the bridge and back to the left, and when leaving the bridge when they return to Hong Kong and Macau. Traffic jam between Zhuhai and Wei Bridge does not require a left-right conversion since both of them are right-hand. It is also worth noting that the passage of private vehicles is regulated by a quota and in fact represents a cross-border crossing. So to travel to Hong Kong, you need to pay significant fees, taxes, and need administrative documents for owning a private vehicle. For example, the rights of both Hong Kong and mainland China are required. Therefore, driving by private cars is very problematic. But shuttle buses run 24 hours a day and travel over the bridge takes no more than 40 minutes. Hong Kong-Macau Zhuhai has ports of entry at HD pace, which are called border crossing points, so those traveling over the bridge will also have to go through immigration control. In each of them, the main part of the bridge is divided into 2 3-lane highways. The speed of movement on them is limited to 100 kilometers per hour. The total width slightly exceeds 33 meters. The curves of the road resemble a snake, and the towers refer simultaneously to white dolphins and boat masts. The artificial islands were reinforced by engineers with 120 steel cylinders, whose height is comparable to the height of an 18-story building. The weight of each of them is 550 tons. The Airbus A380, the largest production aircraft in the world, weighs about the same. To implement such a large-scale project, the Chinese needed 400,000 tons of steel for the construction of the Eiffel Tower. The French used 60 times less at one time. According to official data, the Gong-Andriukoi Bridge of Macau is able to withstand an earthquake of magnitude 8. It is also not afraid of the strongest typhoon. It will withstand the impact of a cargo ship weighing 300,000 tons. And the estimated lifetime of the structure is 120 years. The bridge is equipped with the latest technology. Just to ensure safety, specialists have installed about 8,000 loudspeakers, over 260 amplifiers, more than 2,000 video cameras, guaranteeing high image clarity. At the same time, all the equipment is not only ultra-modern, but also corresponds to the internal design of the object. The approach to security is really impressive. If the driver yawns more than 3 times within a minute, the camera will record this and transmit information about the tired person to the control center. The official opening of the bridge took place in October 2018. The ceremony was attended by Chinese President Xi Jinping. Like any other expensive and widely publicized project, there are both supporters and opponents. The former talk about the incredible economic benefits. The latter makes such a bunch of claims that a detailed story about them requires a separate video. Therefore, here we will touch them only tangentially. Even during construction, the project began to be called the Bridge of Blood and Tears. The reason for that death, injuries of workers only on the Hong Kong side from 2011 to 2017, 9 people died and 600 were injured. It's scary to imagine what was going on in Chinese, for which there is no data. Among those who initially did not like the project very much were environmentalists. Most of all, They worried about the welfare of Chinese white dolphins, which were threatened with extinction without a bridge. It was because of environmentalists that the construction of the Hong Kong site was postponed. In order not to harm rare animals, the creator and the Jedi had to spend about $50.3 million. Another interesting point is the instructions for builders prescribed to interrupt work if a dolphin appears within 500 meters. If you believe the official information from China, then the bridge did not cause any harm to dolphins in the end. Moreover, their number in the area only increased, and by June 2020, about 2,500 of these animals were seen. Perhaps the main argument of the opponents of the bridge is that it is likely that the project will never pay off, especially since it is problematic for private owners to drive cars on it. The situation is further aggravated by the construction of a new bridge just 30 kilometers away, which they promised to open in 2024. Actually, he will drag over some of the traffic. Serious competition, and the GISD-MB is also the mainland railway. You can argue as much as you like about the usefulness of the bridge, but there are two things that are difficult to disagree with. The first, bridge looks really majestic and impressive. Secondly, the persistence of the Chinese in the implementation of large projects causes at least slight stings of envy. That's it. Be sure to share this video and write a comment, so you will support the Techno channel. See you soon, friends!